They say it takes years to build something and seconds to destroy it. For Marcus Chen, a 29-year-old from Atlanta, Georgia, it took exactly 48 hours to lose everything he'd spent a decade building. His business, his savings, his reputation, his relationship, his sobriety, everything, gone in 2 days. But what happened in the next 90 days, between Easter Sunday 2024 and July 4th, would prove that resurrection isn't just a religious concept. It's a real, tangible, brutal, and beautiful process that can happen to anyone willing to face their darkest moment and choose to get back up. If you're watching this after losing everything, if you're at rock bottom right now, if you think 90 days isn't enough time to change anything, this story will prove you wrong. Before we begin, I need you to do something. Hit that like button right now, not later, right now. Because what you're about to hear isn't just entertainment, it's a roadmap. And if this message finds you when you need it most, that like tells YouTube to show it to someone else who's drowning today. Subscribe to this channel. We're building a movement of people who refuse to stay down, and drop a comment. Tell me one thing you want to change in the next 90 days. I read every single comment. Your story matters. Now let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus Chen was the golden boy, first-generation American, son of immigrants from Taiwan who came to Atlanta with $200 and a dream. His parents worked 3 jobs between them, his father in a restaurant kitchen, his mother cleaning offices at night, so Marcus could have opportunities they never had. And Marcus didn't waste it. Straight A student, full scholarship to Georgia Tech, graduated with honors in computer science. By 24, he'd started his own tech consulting firm, helping small businesses optimize their operations. By 27, he had 12 employees and was pulling in $400,000 a year. By 28, he'd bought a condo in Midtown Atlanta, driven a Tesla, and was engaged to Rebecca, a kindergarten teacher he'd met at church. His parents were so proud. Their son had made it, the American dream, realized in one generation. Marcus went to church every Sunday with Rebecca. He tithed faithfully. He mentored kids from immigrant families. From the outside, he had it all. But inside, Marcus was falling apart. The pressure of running a business, the weight of being the success story in his family and community, the constant fear that he'd lose it all and prove he was a fraud, the imposter syndrome that whispered every night, "You don't deserve this, you just got lucky, it's all going to collapse." So Marcus did what a lot of high-achieving, high-functioning people do when the pressure becomes unbearable. He found an escape. It started innocently enough. A drink after closing a big deal, then a drink after a stressful day, then a drink to fall asleep, then a drink to wake up. By 28, Marcus was drinking a bottle of whiskey every 2 days and hiding it from everyone. Rebecca noticed, but didn't know how bad it was. His employees noticed his mood swings but chalked it up to stress. His parents noticed he was tired, but thought he was just working hard. And for a while, Marcus kept all the balls in the air, until he didn't. March 2024. Marcus landed his biggest client ever, a healthcare company that needed a complete system overhaul. $250,000 contract, 6 months of work. It would put his company on the map. He signed the contract on a Friday, celebrated with his team, took Rebecca out for an expensive dinner, then went home and got blackout drunk. Saturday morning, March 23, 2024, Marcus woke up at 11 a.m. with the worst hangover of his life. His phone was exploding with notifications, 43 missed calls, 67 texts. He opened his email and felt his blood turn to ice. The healthcare client's system had gone down at 3 a.m. Complete crash. All their patient data inaccessible. Marcus's company was responsible for their emergency support. The contract he'd signed on Friday had a 24-hour response clause. He'd missed it by 8 hours because he was passed out drunk. By noon, the client had terminated the contract and was threatening to sue for damages. By 3 p.m., word had spread in Atlanta's tight-knit tech community. His reputation was shattered. By 6 p.m., 3 of his other clients had called to reassess their contracts. By Sunday morning, 2 of his best employees had quit. By Sunday afternoon, Rebecca showed up at his condo and found him drunk at 2 p.m., still in yesterday's clothes, surrounded by empty bottles he hadn't even bothered to hide anymore. "I can't do this," she said, setting her engagement ring on his kitchen counter. "I love you, Marcus, but I can't watch you destroy yourself. I can't marry someone who won't admit they need help." She walked out. Marcus watched her go and did nothing to stop her. What was the point? She was right. He was right where he always knew he'd end up. At the bottom, a fraud exposed, a failure. That was Saturday, March 23rd. Within 48 hours, Marcus had lost his biggest client, his reputation, several other clients, key employees, and his fiancée. Within a week, he'd have to lay off the rest of his team. Within 2 weeks, he'd close the business. Within 3 weeks, he'd be $87,000 in debt. Business loans he'd taken to expand. The condo he'd overpaid for. The Tesla he couldn't afford. The engagement ring that sat in a drawer mocking him. But that's not the story. That's just the setup. The real story begins on Easter Sunday, March 31st, 2024. 7 days after Marcus lost everything. He hadn't showered in 3 days, hadn't eaten in 2. He was sitting on his balcony at 6 a.m., looking at the Atlanta skyline, holding a bottle in one hand and his phone in the other. He was scrolling through old photos, him and Rebecca laughing, his team celebrating a win, his parents beaming at his college graduation. He looked at those photos and didn't recognize that person anymore. His phone buzzed, a text from his mother. "Marcus, we're going to church this morning, Easter service. Will we see you there?" He almost didn't respond, almost threw the phone off the balcony, but something made him type, "I don't think I should be there. Mom, I'm not good right now." 3 dots appeared. Then, "That's exactly why you should be there. Church isn't for people who have it together. It's for people who are falling apart. We'll save you a seat." Marcus stared at that text for a long time. Then he looked at the bottle in his hand. Then at the skyline. Then he did something he hadn't done sober in months. He prayed. Not a pretty prayer, not a religious prayer, just raw, desperate honesty. "God, I don't even know if you're real anymore. I don't know if you hear me. I don't know if you care. But I'm at the end. I've destroyed everything. I've hurt everyone who loved me. I'm $87,000 in debt. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a failure. I'm 29 years old and I have nothing left. If you're real, if you're there, I need help. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore." He sat there in the silence. No lightning bolt. No voice from heaven. Just silence. And in that silence, Marcus made a decision. He stood up, walked inside, and poured every bottle of alcohol in his apartment down the drain. All of it, $600 worth of whiskey, watching it spiral down the sink. Then he took a shower, put on clean clothes, and drove to church. Can I pause here? Because I need to ask you something. Have you ever hit a moment where you had a choice? Keep destroying yourself or ask for help. Keep hiding or get honest. Keep running or turn around. If you're in that moment right now, comment below, "I need help." Just those 3 words. No judgment, no shame, just honesty. Because the comment section of this video has become a community of people who've been where you are, people who chose to get back up. And sometimes, just saying it out loud, even to strangers on the internet, is the first step. And if this story is resonating with you, if you're seeing yourself in Marcus, subscribe to this channel, because we're not here for feel-good fluff. We're here for real, raw, honest stories of people who hit bottom and climb back up. Now let's get back to Marcus. Because what happened that Easter Sunday changed everything. Marcus walked into North Point Community Church at 9:45 a.m. He hadn't been to church in 6 weeks, too ashamed, too hungover, too busy hiding. He slid into the back row, hoping to be invisible, but his mother had other plans. She spotted him from across the sanctuary and practically ran over, tears streaming down her face. She didn't ask questions, didn't lecture, just hugged him for a long time and whispered, "I'm so glad you're here." The service started. Marcus barely heard the music, but then the pastor, Andy Stanley, stepped up to speak. His message was titled, "Resurrection After Ruin." "Here's what I want you to understand about Easter," Andy said. "Resurrection doesn't happen before death. It happens after. You can't be raised until you've been buried, and a lot of you are sitting here today in a tomb of your own making. Maybe it's debt, Maybe it's addiction. Maybe it's shame. Maybe it's failure. And you think that tomb is the end of your story. But what if it's not? What if it's just Friday? What if resurrection is coming on Sunday? But here's the thing. You have to admit you're in a tomb. You have to stop pretending you're fine. You have to get honest about how bad it really is. Because resurrection isn't for people who are kind of struggling. It's for people who are dead, completely dead, no hope left. That's when God does his best work. Marcus felt like Andy was speaking directly to him. After the service, he didn't leave immediately. He sat there as people filed out. Then he noticed a guy about his age approaching. "Hey man, I'm David. I heard through the grapevine that you're Marcus Chen, the tech guy." Marcus tensed. "Great. Here comes the judgment. I don't know if you remember, but we met at a business networking thing like a year ago. I wanted to say I heard about what happened with your company, and I wanted you to know. I've been there. Different industry, same story. Lost everything. Alcohol, sabotaged myself, hit rock bottom. That was 3 years ago." Marcus looked at him. David was put together, confident, didn't look like someone who'd been at rock bottom. How are you okay now?" David smiled. "I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was brutal. But I got sober, got a sponsor, got honest, got help, and I rebuilt. Not the same business, but a better life, And I'm part of a men's group here at the church, guys who've been through hell and are helping each other climb out. We meet Tuesday nights. You should come." Marcus wanted to say no, wanted to stay isolated, but something made him nod. "Okay, I'll come." David wrote his number on a bulletin. "Text me before Tuesday if you want to back out. But I really hope you don't. Because what I'm seeing in you right now, I've been there. And you don't have to do this alone." That was Easter Sunday, March 31st. Marcus went home and did something he hadn't done in years. He wrote down everything, every debt, every mistake, every person he'd hurt, every bottle he'd drunk, everything. The number was staggering, $87,000 in debt, 6 months of drinking a bottle every 2 days, 12 employees he'd let down, 1 fiancée who left, 2 parents he'd disappointed, 1 business he'd destroyed. But seeing it on paper, ugly and undeniable, somehow made it less overwhelming. Because you can't fix what you won't face. Monday morning, Marcus called a bankruptcy attorney. "I don't think I'm there yet," Marcus said, "but I need to know my options." The attorney laid it out. Marcus could file Chapter 7, wipe most of the debt, start fresh, or he could try to negotiate with creditors, keep his credit semi-intact, and pay it off over time. If you file bankruptcy, the attorney said, it'll take 7 to 10 years to recover your credit. You'll struggle to start another business. It's the nuclear option, but if you try to pay it off, we're talking 3 to 5 years of aggressive debt payoff. Your choice. Marcus thought about it. Bankruptcy felt like admitting complete defeat, like burning it all down. But trying to pay off $87,000 while unemployed felt impossible. "Give me a week," Marcus said. "Let me see what I can do." Tuesday night, Marcus drove to the church for the men's group. His hands were shaking. He almost turned around 3 times, but he walked in. There were 8 guys sitting in a circle in a small classroom. David introduced him. "This is Marcus. He's new. Be gentle." The other guys laughed and welcomed him. For the next 90 minutes, Marcus sat and listened as grown men talked honestly about their struggles. Addiction, debt, divorce, failure, depression, temptation. It was the most honest conversation Marcus had heard in years. At the end, the leader, a guy named James who was about 50, asked Marcus, "You want to share anything?" Marcus hesitated. Then the words just came out. "I'm an alcoholic. I destroyed my business. I lost my fiancée. I'm $87,000 in debt. I'm 29 years old and I'm a complete failure, and I don't know how to fix it." Silence. Then James said, "Thanks for being honest. That took guts. Here's what I want you to know. You're not alone. You're not the first guy in this room to lose everything, and you won't be the last. But every guy here will tell you rock bottom is a foundation if you're willing to build on it." Another guy, Carlos, spoke up. "I lost my business 8 years ago. $120,000 in debt. Thought my life was over, but I got sober, got help and rebuilt. Now I own a landscaping company. Life is better than it's ever been. Not easier, but better. Marcus felt something crack open in his chest. Hope. Just a sliver. But it was there. After the meeting, James pulled Marcus aside. You said you're in debt. You got a plan. Not yet. Trying to figure it out. You know about Dave Ramsey, financial peace, debt snowball. Marcus shook his head. James pulled out his phone. Look this up. It's a system, not magic, not easy, but it works. I used it to pay off $80,000. Took me 4 years, but I'm debt-free now. If you want, I can walk you through it. That night, Marcus went home and watched Dave Ramsey videos for 3 hours. The message was simple. List your debts smallest to largest. Pay minimums on everything except the smallest. Attack the smallest with everything you've got. When it's gone, roll that payment into the next debt. Repeat until you're free. The debt snowball. It sounded too simple. But Marcus had tried complicated. Complicated got him $87,000 in debt. Maybe simple was worth a shot. Wednesday morning, Marcus made a list. Credit card 1, $2,800. Credit card 2, $5,200. Personal loan, $8,000. Car payment, $24,000. Business loan, $35,000. Condo mortgage, $12,000 upside down. Total, $87,000. He stared at the number. It felt impossible. But then he thought about what James had said. Rock bottom is a foundation if you're willing to build on it. Marcus spent the next 3 days doing something brutal, getting radically honest about his expenses. He made a budget, not a fantasy budget, a real one. Bare bones, condo payment, $2,100, utilities, $180, insurance, $220, phone, $80, food, $300, gas, $100, total essential, $2,180, income, $0. He'd shut down his business. He had no job. He had maybe $3,000 left in savings, enough for 1 month. After that, nothing. Friday morning, Marcus did something that hurt his pride more than anything else in this whole disaster. He moved out of his condo. He called his landlord and explained the situation. I can't afford this anymore. I need to break the lease. The landlord was surprisingly understanding. I've been there, man. Tell you what, you find someone to take over the lease, we'll waive the penalty. Marcus posted the condo on every rental site he could find. Within 2 days, he had a taker. He moved his stuff into a storage unit and moved back in with his parents in their small 3-bedroom house in Duluth. His father opened the door and didn't say a word, just stepped aside. His mother made up his old bedroom. That night at dinner, his father finally spoke. Marcus, your mother and I have been talking. We're not going to lecture you. We're not going to shame you. But we are going to tell you this. You're our son, we love you. But you're also 29 years old, you're not a child. So here are the rules. You live here rent-free for 6 months, but you get a job, any job, within 2 weeks. You pay for your own food and gas, you go to AA or church or whatever you need to stay sober, and you work on fixing your life. Agreed. Marcus felt tears burn his eyes. He'd expected anger, disappointment, shame. Instead, his parents were giving him structure, boundaries, and grace. Agreed, he said. Can we pause again? Because this is important. Marcus just did something most people won't do. He swallowed his pride. He moved back in with his parents at 29. He admitted he couldn't do it alone. And that humility, that willingness to accept help even when it hurt his ego, that's what separated Marcus from the people who stay stuck. So, let me ask you, what's the thing you need to do that your pride won't let you do? Ask for help. Admit you're struggling. Accept that you can't do it alone. Comment below. I need to swallow my pride. Because sometimes just saying it is the first step. And if you're seeing yourself in this story, if Marcus's journey is hitting home, smash that like button and subscribe. We're posting these real stories every week. You don't want to miss what happens next. Now let's see what Marcus does with his 90 days. April 1st is day 1 of what Marcus would later call the 90-day miracle. He woke up in his childhood bedroom at 6 a.m. He hadn't slept well, but he got up, made coffee, and did something he committed to doing every morning. He wrote in a journal, day one, $87,000 in debt, 0 income, living with my parents, sober for 9 days. Goal for today, apply for 10 jobs, any jobs. He spent the next 4 hours applying for everything. Tech jobs, retail jobs, restaurant jobs, warehouse jobs, anything that would give him income. By noon, he'd applied to 43 positions. Day 2. Marcus got a call from a former client, a small business owner named Tom who'd heard about what happened. "Marcus, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. What you did was unprofessional and it hurt your reputation. But I've also watched you help a lot of businesses over the years, and I believe in second chances. I need someone to help me with some basic IT stuff, updating systems, troubleshooting, training my staff. It's not glamorous. It pays $25 an hour. It's contract work, no benefits. But it's something. You want it?" Marcus wanted to say it was beneath him. He used to charge $150 an hour, but he swallowed his pride. "Yes. When do I start?" "Monday." That was $25 an hour, roughly $4,000 a month if he could get full-time hours. It wasn't much, but it was something. That night at the men's group, Marcus shared the news. The guys celebrated like he'd won the lottery, because they understood rock bottom isn't about how far you fall. It's about whether you start climbing. Week 2. Marcus started working for Tom. The work was humbling. He was doing basic troubleshooting he used to assign to junior employees. But he showed up on time, worked hard, and didn't complain. Tom noticed, "You're different than you were before, Marcus. More humble, more focused. What changed?" Marcus thought about it. "I died, and I'm trying to come back to life." Week 3. Marcus's first paycheck, $1,600 for 2 weeks of work. After taxes, $1,280. He sat in his car staring at the direct deposit notification. It was the first money he'd earned in over a month. That night, he sat with James and built out his first real budget. Income, $2,560 per month. Expenses, food, $200, gas, $100, phone, $80, AA meetings, $20, miscellaneous, $100, total $500. That leaves you $2,060, James said. "Where's the rest going?" "Debt," Marcus said. $2,060 a month attacking debt. James smiled. "That's the spirit. Now here's the plan. Your smallest debt is that $2,800 credit card. At $2,060 a month, you'll kill it in less than 2 months. When it's dead, you take that payment and the minimum you were paying and roll it all into the next debt." Snowball. Marcus looked at the numbers. $87,000. At $2,060 a month, it would take 3.5 years, longer if he had setbacks. But it was possible. Not easy, not fast, but possible. Week 4. Easter was 4 weeks behind him. Marcus was 30 days sober. He'd gained back 10 pounds he'd lost from not eating. He was sleeping better. His mind was clearer. He was starting to feel human again. But the cravings were brutal. Every day around 5 p.m. his brain screamed for a drink. That's when he'd call someone from AA, or text David, or go to a meeting. One day at a time wasn't a cliché anymore. It was survival. Week 5. Marcus made his first debt payment, $2,060 toward that $2,800 credit card. Watching the balance drop to $740 felt like a victory. Small, but real. He was moving in the right direction for the first time in years. That night, he wrote in his journal, 35 days sober, $740 left on first debt. Working a job I would have been embarrassed by 2 months ago. Living with my parents, and somehow I'm happier than I've been in years. Weird. Week 6. The $2,800 credit card was paid off, completely. Marcus logged into the account and saw balance 0.0. He sat there staring at it. 1 debt down, 5 to go. He called James. "The first debt is dead." James laughed. "See, it works. Now kill the next one." The second debt was $5,200. At his current pace, 2.5 months. By early July, week 7. Tom offered Marcus more hours. "I've been impressed with your work. I'm expanding. I need someone to manage all my IT operations, $30 an hour, full-time, with some benefits. You interested? Marcus couldn't believe it. A $5,000 raise in 2 months just from showing up and working hard. Absolutely. Good. Because I'm also going to ask you to do something else. I want you to talk to some other business owners I know. Tell them your story. Not the sanitized version, the real version. Because a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with pressure and addiction, and they're too ashamed to admit it. You could help people. Week 8. Marcus spoke at a small business networking event. He was terrified, but he got up and told his story. 2 months ago, I lost everything. My business, my fiancée, my reputation. I was $87,000 in debt and drinking myself to death. Today, I'm sober. I'm rebuilding. I've paid off one debt. I'm working my way out. And if you're sitting here pretending you've got it all together while you're falling apart inside, I want you to know you don't have to do that. There's no shame in admitting you need help. After he spoke, 3 business owners came up to him privately. One was struggling with cocaine. One was drowning in debt. One was on the verge of divorce because of work addiction. They all asked the same question. How did you do it? Marcus gave them the same answer. I got honest. I asked for help. I took it one day at a time, and I'm still doing it. Week 9. Marcus was 63 days sober. His second debt was almost gone, $200 left. He was making $5,000 a month now. After expenses, he had $2,500 to throw at debt. The snowball was getting bigger. He updated his debt list. Credit card 1, paid. Credit card 2, $200. Personal loan, $8,000. Car payment, $24,000. Business loan, $35,000. Condo debt, $12,000. Remaining total, $8,200. In 9 weeks, he'd paid off $6,800. Not magic, just consistency. Week 10. Marcus got a text from Rebecca. I heard you're doing better. I'm proud of you. His heart stopped. He hadn't heard from her in 10 weeks. He wanted to call her, wanted to beg her to come back, but he knew he wasn't ready. He texted back, thank you, I'm trying, I'm sober, I'm working on myself. I'm not asking you to wait for me or take me back, but I want you to know, losing you was the wake-up call I needed. I'm sorry for everything I put you through, she responded. I'm glad you're getting help. Keep going. That was it. No, I miss you. No, let's talk. Just keep going. And somehow, that was exactly what Marcus needed to hear. He wasn't doing this to win her back. He was doing this to become someone he could respect again. Week 11. The second debt fell. $5,200 credit card paid in full. 2 debts down, 4 to go. Remaining $75,000. Marcus was 77 days sober. He'd lost 20 pounds of bloat and gained back muscle. His face looked different. His eyes were clear. His parents kept saying he looked like himself again. But Marcus knew the truth. He didn't look like his old self. He looked like a new self, someone harder, humbler, stronger. Week 12. It was late June. Marcus was closing in on 90 days sober, 90 days since Easter, 3 months since he'd hit rock bottom. James asked him to share his story at the men's group. Marcus stood up and told them everything. The success, the pressure, the drinking, the crash, the 48 hours that destroyed everything, the Easter Sunday prayer, the decision to get help, the 90 days of rebuilding. I'm not going to stand here and tell you I'm fixed, Marcus said. I'm not. I'm still $75,000 in debt. I'm still living with my parents. I'm still working a job that pays half of what I used to make. I'm still single. I still crave a drink every single day, but here's what I am. I'm sober. I'm climbing. I'm becoming someone I can respect. And if I can do that, anyone can. The room was silent. Then one of the new guys, someone Marcus had never seen before, raised his hand. How do you do it? How do you keep going when it feels impossible? Marcus thought about it. 1 day at a time. 1 choice at a time. 1 debt at a time. I don't think about the $75,000. I think about the next $8,000, the personal loan. That's my target. That's all I focus on. When that's dead, I'll focus on the next one. You can't eat an elephant in 1 bite. But you can eat it 1 bite at a time. July 4th, 2024. 95 days since Easter. 95 days sober. Marcus woke up in his childhood bedroom, made coffee, and sat on the back porch with his journal. He wrote, "Day 95. 3 months since I hit bottom. 2 debts paid off. $75,000 to go. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was. And that's progress." His phone buzzed. A text from Tom, "Happy 4th of July. By the way, I've been talking to some other business owners. They want to hire you for consulting work. Part-time, on top of your current job. Could add another $1,500 a month if you want it." Marcus stared at the text. 3 months ago, his reputation was destroyed. Now clients were coming back, not because he'd rebuilt his business, but because he'd rebuilt himself. He texted back, "I'm in." That night, Marcus went to a 4th of July barbecue at David's house. The men's group was there. Carlos, James, others. They were grilling burgers and watching fireworks. David pulled Marcus aside. "You know what today is? July 4th, Independence Day. And I'm watching you become independent, from alcohol, from debt, from shame, from the old version of yourself. You're free, man. Not completely, but you're getting there." Marcus looked at the fireworks exploding over Atlanta. 95 days ago, he was sitting on his balcony holding a bottle, considering whether life was worth living. Now he was standing in a backyard full of men who'd become brothers, watching fireworks, sober, free, alive. It wasn't the life he'd planned, but it was a life worth living. Let me ask you something. What could change in your life in 90 days if you started today? Not 90 years, not 90 months, just 90 days, 3 months. That's all it took for Marcus to go from broken to building, from drunk to sober, from $87,000 in debt to $75,000 and dropping, from hopeless to hopeful. What could your 90 days look like? Comment below. Tell me one thing you're committing to for the next 90 days. One thing, make it specific, make it real. And if this story gave you hope, like this video, share it with someone who's at their rock bottom right now. Subscribe because we're telling more of these stories every single week. And remember, 90 days can change everything, but only if you start. Now let me tell you where Marcus is today. 18 months after that. Easter Sunday, December 2025, Marcus Chen is sitting in a coffee shop in Atlanta. He's 31 now. He paid off the personal loan, paid off the car, negotiated the business loan down to $15,000 and set up a payment plan. He's still chipping away at it. He's still living with his parents, not because he has to anymore, but because he's close to the finish line and doesn't want to slow down. He's been sober for 630 days. He's attending AA meetings twice a week. He's leading the men's group at church now, helping other guys climb out of their own tombs. His consulting business is back, smaller, more intentional, more sustainable. He's working with 6 clients, making about $80,000 a year, not the $400,000 he used to make. But he doesn't need that anymore. He's learned the difference between success and significance, between looking successful and actually being healthy, between having it all and having what matters. Rebecca, they're not back together. She's dating someone else now. And Marcus is okay with that. He's not dating anyone. He's focusing on becoming the kind of man who deserves a healthy relationship whenever that time comes. His parents are proud of him in a different way now. Not because he's the golden boy, but because he's real, honest, humble, human. And here's the thing about Marcus's story that I need you to understand. This isn't a story about bouncing back. It's a story about building back. Marcus didn't return to who he was before the crash. He became someone new, someone better. The crash didn't ruin him. It refined him. The tomb didn't end his story. It started a new chapter. But here's what Marcus wants you to know. I talked to him before making this video, and he said, "Tell people that rock bottom is a gift, not when you're in it. When you're in it, it's hell." But looking back, hitting bottom was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced me to stop pretending, stop performing, stop running. It forced me to get real, get help, and get better. And I wouldn't trade the person I am now for the person I was before. Not for anything. So if you're at rock bottom right now, if you've lost everything, if you think 90 days isn't enough to change anything, I want you to hear this. Marcus lost his business, his fiancée, his reputation, and $87,000 in 48 hours. But in 90 days, he got sober, paid off 2 debts, found work, rebuilt his reputation, and started climbing. He's not finished, but he's free. And if he can do it, so can you. Your 90 days start the moment you decide they do. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Now today, this moment. What's your Easter Sunday going to be? What's your moment of decision? What's the thing you're finally going to get honest about? Because here's the truth. Resurrection isn't a metaphor, it's a process. You die to the old version of yourself, you admit you're in the tomb, you ask for help, you take it one day at a time, and slowly, painfully, beautifully, you come back to life. Not the same life. A new life. A better life. A free life. Marcus wants you to know something else. He said, tell them that the hardest part isn't hitting bottom. The hardest part is admitting you're there. The hardest part is asking for help. The hardest part is showing up day after day when nothing seems to be changing. The hardest part is choosing discipline over comfort, honesty over hiding, growth over safety. But that hardest part, that's where freedom lives. That's where resurrection happens. That's where you become the person you were always meant to be. And here's the last thing Marcus said. He looked me in the eye and said this: if someone watching this video is where I was on March 23, 2024, if they're holding a bottle and considering whether life is worth living, I want them to know something. It is. Life is worth living. The pain you're in right now isn't permanent. The tomb you're in isn't the end. Easter is coming. Resurrection is possible, but you have to choose it. You have to pour out the bottle. You have to make the call. You have to show up at church or AA or the men's group or wherever your people are. You have to take the first step, and then the next step, and then the next. And 90 days from now, you'll look back and barely recognize the person you were, because you'll be alive again. So here's my question for you. Are you ready? Are you ready to admit you're in the tomb? Are you ready to ask for help? Are you ready to do the hard work of resurrection? Are you ready for your 90 days? If you are, comment below right now. Just 2 words. I'm ready. That's it. Put it in writing. Make it real. Make it public. Because sometimes commitment starts with a comment. And if this story moved you, if Marcus's journey gave you hope, do 3 things. Like this video so YouTube shows it to someone else who needs it. Share it with someone you know who's at rock bottom. And subscribe, because we're building a movement of people who refuse to stay down. People who believe that 90 days can change everything. People who know that resurrection isn't just a religious idea, but a lived reality. And one more thing, if you're struggling with addiction, debt, depression, or any other darkness, please hear this. You don't have to do it alone. There are people in your community right now. Men's groups, women's groups, AA meetings, financial counselors, pastors, therapists, friends who've been where you are and want to help you climb out. You just have to be brave enough to reach out. You just have to be honest enough to say, I need help. That's not weakness. That's the beginning of strength. Marcus's 90 days started with a desperate prayer on a balcony, with pouring whiskey down a drain, with showing up at church broken and ashamed, with admitting to a room full of strangers that he was an alcoholic, with moving back in with his parents, with taking a job that paid a fraction of what he used to make, with paying off $2,800 and celebrating like it was $1 million. 90 days of small choices, humble steps, honest moments, and those 90 days changed everything. Your 90 days can too, but they don't start until you decide they do. So decide, right now. This moment, choose life, choose honesty, choose help, choose freedom, choose resurrection, because 48 hours can destroy everything. But 90 days can rebuild it. Not the same, but better. Not easier, but freer. Not without scars, but with strength you never knew you had. This is Marcus Chen's story. A story of 48 hours that took everything and 90 days that gave him back his life. A story of rock bottom and rising again. A story of death and resurrection. A story that proves that no matter how far you fall, no matter how much you've lost, no matter how impossible it seems, you can come back. You can rebuild. You can be free. If you're willing to admit you're in the tomb, if you're willing to ask for help, if you're willing to take it one day at a time, if you're willing to give yourself 90 days, so what's it going to be? Are you going to stay in the tomb, or are you going to step into the light? The choice is yours. But know this, if Marcus can do it, so can you, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Welcome to your 90 days. Welcome to your resurrection. Welcome back to life. Now go. Comment. Like, subscribe, share, and then take your first step, because your Easter Sunday is waiting. And 90 days from now, you're going to look back at this moment and realize it was the day everything changed, the day you decided to get back up, the day you chose life, the day your resurrection began. Verse for your meditation. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:17. You're not who you were, you're who you're becoming. And that person is free.